Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. A bit of a mixed bag this week. I wanted to show you a couple of things that have arrived this week. Little games, stroke magazines that I've had on order for a little while. Show you some of the progress I'm making on the painting table in terms of my Carthaginian 10mm project. And also to share with you some preliminary thoughts around the forthcoming release of Strength and Honor, following my game and exposure to the rules last week at Hammerhead. Just some thoughts around my purchases at the show from Warbases in relation to Strength and Honor, and a couple of the lists that have been released so far for us to start considering. My thoughts around how I'm going to set that up and run that. And what I will do as well is share with you some further footage that I took at Hammerhead of the Strength and Honor game. I apologise now, the sound quality in view of the number of people at the show was not great, so I'm probably going to either run it on silent volume with some background music, or you will get the video, but as I say, you may not be able to hear a great deal in view of the background noise going on. But I hope the video gives you something of interest to look at, think about, and what I hope to do when Strength and Honor is finally released, the rules come out, is do a rules review, talk a bit about the game, and as we start playing it at the club, bring you a few more videos of that as well. So without further ado, let's start by having a look at the painting table at the moment. So at the moment, the main things on the table directly are the 10mm Pendragon Carthaginian army. I did finish my Greco-Roman sort of temple as such, which I showed you a couple of videos ago. That's packed away now, but I was quite pleased with the final outcome of that. But just been doing some experimental painting with the Carthaginians. So we've got some of the Pendragon elephants. These are just, they're not based yet, as you can tell. I'm just putting them on the base sizes 40-30s that I'm going to be using with these. These are going to be used for Saga Age of Hannibal, hence the basing scheme, which I'll come on to, and ultimately will allow me to use them for TTS, Sword and Spear, Wars of Republic, etc, etc. So lots of scope to do that, but I'm quite pleased with the colours of the elephants themselves, and the figures on the top there, a little splash of red just to bring some colour out. But I've got 4 of those ready so far. My first sort of stand of figures, again, just to kind of show you those. Let's just, again, I've kept them very simple. I didn't want to overcomplicate the detail on them, so I've taken a similar approach to what I did with my O group chaps. Done a primer in grey, as you can see with these chaps here, and just wait for that to focus up. Then we've done a soft tone wash, and then literally I've used Austrian white, which is a Foundry colour, to paint the main tunics, and then again a Foundry bright red is all the red colour you see on there. I've used a standard sort of gold. I did play around with an antique-y sort of gold colour, but in the end I went for normal gold. You've got a Foundry flesh, spear shaft brown has been used for the spears, with Citadel metal plate, and then another soft tone wash over the top. So overall, reasonably happy with those. These are my kind of bread and butter chaps, the Citizen Spears, and you know, for wargaming purposes they'll be absolutely fine, but again they've got to be based in due course. But I've got a fair few of these to do, as you can see. Got long lines of them here. I've got some in various stages of progress at the moment. So these are now actually pretty much painted. They're just awaiting their final wash. So that's some more spears, and then some of the command group figures or command figures that will go with those spearmen. So again, you can kind of see those. And again, is a similar sort of theme, colours wise, coming through on all of those as well. But they're nice models. Then for the Warlord, for saga purposes, you know, mounting him on a bigger base. So we started to put together a base for Hannibal. The figures themselves are actually painted, as you can see there. So Hannibal pretty much in the same sort of colours. His breastplate has been done in wildwood contrast, just to give that sort of black metal effect. Hopefully you can see that there with the light the way it is at the moment. Let me just zoom that in a little bit. Maybe no, it's not going to play ball, but you can get a flavour. And then the horse, I've used Gulliman flesh, again, various washes to bring out some of the detail there as well. Hopefully you can get a kind of flavour of that. And that will obviously be matte varnish to tone down the gloss effect, which I don't like. The bases, this, as I say, is very much a prototype. I'm intending to use one of the dry range of Citadel colours, Terminator Stone, which gives quite a, if I just show you, it's quite a thick, stodgy mixture. That's what I'm going to use for the basing, and it will give, when it dries, a cracked effect, sort of wasteland cracked effect, which I think will look quite nice. So that's the Carthaginians kind of started. I've got a couple of palette cleansing figures just on the painting desk as well. Again, these are very much early stages. They've been primed, and there's been a little splash of colour. This is Hercules, so a lovely model. This is one of the Gods and Mortals range of figures, as is this gentleman here, which, if I remember rightly, is Perseus from their Greek mythology range. So again, really nice models, primed, ready for a bit more detail. But as the 10mm become a bit of a chore, because there's quite a few to do, and bear in mind these are just the first stage of the bulk bread and butter kind of infantry chaps. I've got lots of other units to do. Then I'll expand that accordingly, and probably be glad of a few of these palette cleansing kind of options open to me. So that's painting desk. I'm just going to show you sort of just some of the things that have arrived this week, and then we'll start talking a bit more about strength and honour. Well, the first thing that turned up was something I pre-ordered at the beginning of the year. It's another one of the Vevictus magazines. Really frustrating that it's only available in French, because it looks a cracking magazine. I'd really love to be able to kind of read it a bit more. There's only so much you can do with Google Translate. but it's a really nicely produced magazine. But the reason I actually ordered it was all to do with this on the front, which in effect is the game that came with this issue, Legard Advance. It's another one of the Jaws de Gloire series, and the rules were to be in English as well as French, although the rules I was sent unfortunately were still in French, but I've been able to download the English versions of these, so I can now start working my way through those. I've got the play sheets, so that's good. We've got specific scenario based rules, and then the download of the main rules themselves, and the main rules themselves run to about 12 pages, so not too bad. I've actually set the game up with the view to giving this a run through, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Swing the camera around, punch the counters, and just show you really a little bit about what the table looks like. So it's a fairly standard map size, not too big at all, quite small. Hex counters, quite small, but as you can see there, very clear, easy to read. Detail, just showing you a little bit of the detail on the map there. It's fairly basic map, but then Waterloo, which this covers, other than the main elements which you can just see on there, there isn't a lot to depict. And this particular game is very much focusing on the final stage of the battle, which was the Imperial Guard's assault on the Allied position on the heights. And the game focuses very much on those critical middle and old guard units, as you can see here, and their assault up into the central position, as you can see there. So quite a small footprint little game. These are just some of the counters. Started reading through. It looks a very interesting system, particularly the orders system, where each overall army commander will have a certain number of commands it can give in a turn. So in this case for Napoleon, that's 2. Wellington is exactly the same. You'll have the counters, you put them face down with the different groups. In effect, you can order 2 of those groups. The rest of them will be unordered. Doesn't mean they can't do anything, but they're more limited to what they can do, and there's a chance they might not do anything at all. So that kind of friction is built into the game through that system, and it looks quite interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I may well bring you a further video on this one in due course, but that's a very quick look at this game in the Ve Victus magazine. One other thing I've had arrive this week, let's show you that. Okay, so this is Siege of Orgo, 1983, Afghanistan. Game I've been looking at for a little while. It's an old game now, been out for the last 7 or so years. It's one of the Revolution games stock. I've got quite a few of their games. I really love their system, particularly the kind of area control way that these work. So as always, these are Ziploc or baggy type games rather than boxed, to keep costings down. But what I always like about these is the maps themselves. And as you can see there, this isn't a full kind of unbagging, but just to give you a flavour of the kind of quality of the map, with these areas on here, it's really, again, really nicely done, typical of the kind of quality that you get with their games. Nice little cover there, and with a breakdown of the counters. So you've got the government-backed troops of the DRA and the Mujahideen as well. And again, apologies if my pronunciations are not great, but this is quite an interesting little game, a little siege battle. You've got rulebook in here. Okay, there's not any colour in there. It looks a bit dry, but it's only 11-12 pages, and again, some of that is designer notes as well. So I know from playing previous games in this series that they're very, very playable. Not many counters, as you can see there, 1/2 sheet. Really good quality counters though, in terms of, again, quality of the diagrams. Let's see if we can get that a bit lighter. Open the blind a little bit. There we go. That's a bit better. So yeah, got some quite nice counter art there, covering different things. And the element that I particularly like with this is the cards as well. So you've got some different types of units there from that point of view as well, and these play quite a big part in the game. So that's just a little one to have a look at in due course. That's one particularly that I may well, if there's any interest, look to bring another video on in due course. So finally, I'd just like to talk a bit more about strength and honor. So as I mentioned last week, post Hammerhead, I'd bought a number of packs of the Antonin miniatures range from Warbases, 3 packs of the Horde Warband packs, a couple of skirmish ones so I can do a base and the individual bases, one group of horse, sort of to cover medium horse there, and also the wagon lager unit. So quite looking forward to putting this one together. As you can see there, again, apologies for the quality of the phone that I'm using. For some reason we're struggling to get it to zoom in today. Not quite sure what the issue is. There we go, that's better. So you can see there the quality of the sculpts, very clean, crisp. Hoping to make a nice wagon lager there, and got a few other bits and pieces in there, which I'm hoping, along with some of the skirmish groups, to be able to make some commands out of as well. So that was ideally going to be used to put together an ancient Britain's force, and what we've decided to do is to utilize our existing mats that we use for To the Strongest, which are 4x3 gridded in 100mm squares. So everyone will be thinking, well, strength and honor excuse me, was designed to be played on 120 square grids, if not bigger. What we are going to do is scale down to 80/50s so that we can get them both 2 units within a square, divided up into 4 mini squares as per strength and honor requirements. And what I wanted to just show you was, from one pack, you can see there that you can quite easily design, depending on how you want to go about it, a warband stroke horde base there. So something like that will represent my warbands. What that means is that I've got that again in a pack, and that means that I can use the packs to go twice as far, or any combination of, and still get a really good effect of lots of troops on the table. Again, it's difficult to tell until I've got all the basing done and painted and everything else, but what you will have is a mass effect using the hordes. So that means I can get multiple bases out of a pack, which is great. And I've got a few options there with those, and that will be the same with the horse and with the skirmishers as well. You get the single line skirmish stands automatically with Warbases. I'll just have to cut those down to 80mm. No big deal there. And probably for the generals or commanders, I will use just these small little circular bases there as well, to put those on. And as you saw last time, I've got some green stuff, so I can develop and build up some extra different types of units if I need to. The only thing I need for this group particularly are the light chariots, which the ancient Britons used. I'm hoping they're going to come out very soon. But what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to use this army for multiple warband force lists. I have wilted, having seen the Spartacus video this week. Actually, when this first was muted as coming out, and I heard about the slave revolt lists, that was something that particularly struck a chord with me. So Warbases have had another small order entered in with them over the weekend, which will enable me then to muster a force of ex-slaves and gladiators to take on the might of Rome, and I'm looking forward to, again, following a similar basing scheme with those. You got some different types of units in that list. What I'm going to try and avoid doing is being tempted by future videos to buy even more. I think those two, what I would call mini armies, which should be quite achievable quite quickly, will be more than enough to scratch my itch for the time being. But on that note, that's just a heads up of where my thoughts are around Strength and Honour in the short term. As I say, hope to bring more videos of the game once it's released, and I'll leave you with some further unseen footage from that I took the previous weekend at Hammerhead. Hope you've enjoyed the short video, and look forward again to seeing you all very, very soon.
You might bring a unit and then move the unit up here, and then charge with this up here. Because then if it goes wrong, you'll have a unit back here on its own.
I think I'll bring them various down.
Okay, but very much you're going to move full distance with them, and you're going to do a manoeuvre check with them. A manoeuvre check with warbands is 4 up for normal warbands. Okay? So just to bear that in mind, you have a high chance of it being reversed. We're not tactically very good.
I think I'll leave them where they are.
So you might want to go with the legions first.
I think let's start on the left flank. First legion. I just want to go for
yeah. You don't want to get too high here, do you? You want to be nice and medium. Three's good, three's one more stand. That's what
and I don't need to move these ones.
You don't need to. Right. They've gone forward, they've left the island.
We will move the structure.
Right, so if I look at this 6, that means you've got 3 squares. Now, if you do a manoeuvre, it's 2 movements. Okay? So, it's a move to put 2 up. If you fail it, it's a reverse. So, the trick of this game is to think about what's your safest move first. You play your safe moves, and then you try and when you need to risk it.
Just go 1, 2.
No, the 1 is the only one where nothing happens. Oh, it's no.
What a way to start.
What a way to start. So a 1 is nothing, but that's okay. Because you just went to skirmish on the front, they haven't heard the order to go. Now they just don't punch it. You can keep activating the other things, but if you roll the next roll of the 1, straight away it goes to the rover, so you've lost your initiative to start the battle, and barriers, and that's what it is.
Next one along then,
Things on that. Now with Warband are a funny unit that they've got to go for with the full movement roll that they roll. And they've got to go, and it's closer to the enemy, okay, than they were at the start of the turn. It doesn't necessarily mean they've got to go directly forward towards them, they've got to keep closing the gap and move on full movement. That could be 3 squares there. So if you go 3 squares forward, 1, 2, 3, you can see there they're already racing ahead. And the problem with your Germans here is going to be trying to keep them as a line together, because if you hit one at a time, the Romans will bounce those off like nobody's business. The trick is to charge as a wave then later on, okay? Right, so you still got the phase at the moment, so it's like to activate now. If you want to activate these, both of these will activate to move together. So, over here, the two-tone warriors over here, don't go to the here. That's still got the phase in. So you keep going with these. Alternatively now, you might want to keep them. It's up to you. So all the time you've got these choices. Two is 1 square, so that's the case. One square there. So they go for the full 3 if they want to. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can do a diagonal pass. Diagonal pass will lead you here. The only problem with that, is that's a manoeuvre, because you're not going straight ahead. So to do a manoeuvre check, now these guys here, you can roll their manoeuvre with a D-scope, and their manoeuvre is 3+. So to do this manoeuvre, you need a 3+. If you fail it, you don't really move, then you stop there, and you get reversed if you want to use it. So doing this is risky. Okay? Go straight on. Okay. Right, Ambrosius leads for the Ambrones.